do roll call. I think everyone's here, but Mrs. Gunnerman, and I think we already knew she was going to be out, so it'd be 4-0 or 4-1, I guess, all on that one. All right, so the first thing we've got would be superintendent's evidence and comments. Mr. Burrow.
Yeah, you have my evidence form for the standards in the packet. Just got a few little things just to let you know that K1, 6th, and 12th graders that are back 4 days a week. It's done real well. I'm going to go ahead. I have the principals are going to share how they're liking those kids back more. Let's just go from high school down. Mr. Nelson, you on?
Yes, sir, Mr. Burrow. We added the 12th grade for 4 days this week, as well as our A and B schedule also. We also added any students that to the 4 day a week attendance, any student that receives any kind of special services or targeted interventions. We added those this week also. And also we looked down and found those students that would qualify for interventions in multiple classes, even though if they weren't on that list, and reached out to them and got them in for 4 days a week also. And it's been absolutely nothing but positive. The seniors are loving it, being able to interact, albeit, social distancing, things like that. They whine and complain because they can't set more than a few to a lunchroom table so they can visit. But other than that, it's been very, very positive. We're moving towards ACT, so we're signing up juniors for the virtual boot camp that we're conducting in the morning in school. It's a 4-hour ACT practice, ACT familiarity type of program. And as of sometime this morning, we had over 40 already signed up for that. So, we'd like to get them all. However, 40 is a lot better than 4. So we're very thankful for them. So things are going absolutely great here at the high school. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Mr. Foster.
Well, I can just say ditto for the same thing that Mr. Nelson said, but I would say that it is definitely nice to hear lots of voices in the building. It feels more like a school now than when we just barely have any kids in. I have seen a lot of more smiles out of these kids. They seem happy to be back around peers and in the building. We've done a lot of helping kids getting caught up, and that has gotten a lot of positive feedback from the kids themselves. Like, they're just so proud of themselves. So we do know that, there's been a lot of struggle on their part as well. I'm looking forward to next week having the whole building back in. But it does feel more like what I call school. So, and we've done the same thing, bringing extra kids in, even if they're not supposed to be here on their A or B day, for ones that could, to get caught up and to get help or needed extra services.
It's good. It's good.
Is Miss Ellis on? I can't see faces.
I'm on here.
All right, this here.
We've been doing pretty much the same as what we were doing before. We did pick up a few more students, but we already had majority of our K and 1s coming to school. Of course, now they're all there. So next week's going to be our true challenge, seeing what it's like with all of the K through 5 there. Our older grades, some of them are the ones who have more virtual than what we had in the primary. We already had all of our extras coming in as far as for extra services. They were already on the schedule, and that was going really well. So now it's just nice to be able to get a hold of them more often instead of just scheduling days for them to come in. Yeah. So that's a good thing. Everything went well. One thing I did want to mention that we were proud of, we had a Governor's Cup this last weekend. And we had some students that did awesome because this was a true challenge doing it virtually. They were practicing. Some of these children were virtual children, and we were having to host practices. And Sherry Sanders did an awesome job. She contacted them, and she did the everything that she could possibly do with the capability of what she had to work with. If we'd have had a quick recall team or a FPS team, we've been right up there with the top, but we came in 3rd overall. but we had some students that really did awesome. With the students that were there, Megan Simon came in first place in language arts over all the schools, over all the tests. And we also had, she was runner-up in social studies. And then she was also on composition, she came in first. So, I mean, we're talking, she really knocked it out.
Great.
But we had Connor Logston came in first in arts and humanities. So these were areas that, we feel like we're missing out on by them not being with us when it comes to arts and humanities and things like that. And they still did an awesome job. Marion Peak, she came in 5th place in language arts. Just awesome. And Keaton Brady, he came in as runner-up, so 2nd place in science. So overall, they did an outstanding job considering the obstacles they faced this year. So just want to make sure y'all were aware of that.
Thank you. Very good. John?
I'm here.
Okay.
We've had a good week this week. The only thing that we've had any trouble with, it didn't have anything to do with kids. It has to do with technical difficulties with Infinite Campus. So, and all the attendance stuff. But other than that, the kids are excited to be here. A lot of the kindergartners were worn out this morning. I could tell when I got them out of the car or got them off the bus. They were kind of dragging today after being here for 4 days. But other than that, we've had a great week. We only had one kid that was absent today. So I think we're ready. We're ready for the 5 days.
All right.
All right. Great.
Ms. Scatton?
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Burrow, Mr. Miller, members of the board. Calhoun has been doing really well with returning to school 4 days a week. We have our K1 here and everyone that has interventions, special services, they are here as well, as along with a few extra students. So it has been a busy, fun, joy-filled week. Seeing kids in the building. We're looking forward to having everyone back next week. We were especially thankful to have them back in person after we were able to get our Case 21 scores and see where we could provide interventions and reflect on skills that students might still be missing or need to learn. We also have noticed that students are struggling to get back into the routine of 4 days a week. Everyone's classroom is a lot quieter today than it was at the beginning of the week. So that was one thing that we could say is that hopefully everyone can get back in a routine soon and ready for in-person school. And I do want to say we've had a good support system this week with Miss Hutchinson and Miss Daughtery with Mountain Comp and Miss Wilkerson Family Resource and Mr. Troutman trying to help meet the social emotional needs of families and students at this time as we transition back into school. So we appreciate that.
Great.
Thank you.
All sounding good. Sounding good. Do you think there's going to be many of them going to need very much help getting back, trying to get caught up on their classwork or their learning?
I think all of them, I think everybody, principals, this was one of the things a few months ago, I had them print out their failures. And I think every one of them has been doing something to attack those kids to come help them to gain back what they lost. You know, a lot of them we find out right now, the ones that are failing are the ones that are not doing. I mean, the ones that want to work, they're not going to fail because they got enough help and resources to do it. But we're finding the ones that are failing, they're not logging on, they're not doing anything. So hopefully, if they're back in school, they come back to school instead of, if they stay on virtual, it's hard. But if they're back in school, hopefully they get back in a routine and maybe we can save some of these failures. But there's not as much as there was at the beginning when we started looking at them. But these principals have, and their staff and the teachers that's one of the goals we had. We had a meeting a few months ago, said we need to bring these grades up. And I know I'll let Miss Foster, she's doing a kind of a thing at the middle school for kids that struggled first and second 9 weeks. You want to talk about that?
Sure. We're starting, it'll start either next Friday or the following Monday. We're doing something called Second Chance. And the reason we're offering this opportunity is students that were in the first semester, being in the first or second 9 weeks, that just kind of dug themselves a deep hole and either refused to do the work or didn't do it, or maybe it was bad internet, whatever the reason was. They had some failing grades. So what we're doing is we are looking into the standards that we know that they need to have. And then we are creating units that these students can go back and work on. Obviously, it's not going to be as much work as they would have done the whole first 9 weeks, but it could be just in math or just in reading. It's whatever that particular child needs in that subject area. And then we're going back and giving them the second chance to redo some of that work, so that, one, obviously we want them to know the material so that they can move on and be ready and prepared for the next level. And then obviously, two, we don't want them to fail. So that's kind of what we're working on. It's kind of a big undertaking because we do have several individuals, but I will say that after the first 9 weeks and half of the second, I think kids and parents and everybody started realizing, oh, I might actually fail. So they kind of got themselves in gear, and now they're trying and they're making progress, but they kind of dug themselves a deep hole. So I don't want them, that all the progress they're making now, to be punished for the first 9 weeks or the second when we're giving them an opportunity.
Right.
So that's kind of where we're at now.
That's good. That's good.
Any other principal want to join in on some of the failures or catch up? I guess,
All right.
but most everybody's doing something to help these kids regain their grades throughout that's been our focus on the last few months.
Yeah, some that are just a little behind, it won't take much for them, but those that got real far behind, that was main ones I was concerned with, of course, and all of us are. All right.
The question or?
Yeah, just me. What is the ratio of the kids that are staying home on virtual? Do we know?
Yeah, Ms. Brackett, do you still have that percentage? It has changed every time we come back and forth. Barry, do you remember what yours is in the high school?
Right now at the high school level on the last count, and it's changed all week long, simply because there's been a lot of students who was on virtual that's realizing that being in person is going to improve their grade tremendously. And at the high school level, it was somewhere, and I'm shooting in the dark right here, Tommy. I'm trying to remember, and Miss Brackett might be able to correct me on this. It was like 27% or 26% at one time, but I'm not sure it's still that high.
Yeah, Mr. Nelson, I believe as a district, we were between 15 and 20% at one time. Yeah. I know Mr. Troutman has been working on running numbers today. As we move forward with our assessment, we're double checking everything in Infinite Campus. So I do know Mr. Troutman is, currently working on those and probably can give you a more precise percentage even later today.
Ms. Foster, you know what you are?
I just know that we have somewhere around 70 kids out of about 340, somewhere around that. But I will say this, since just sixth grade alone has come back this week, and parents know that next week all kids are coming back, we're getting calls every day of, can we bring our kid back to school instead of stay virtual? And I think it's because the mindset of, oh, school is actually going on now, even though it has been all year, just in a different way. So I think our numbers will decrease here over the next 2 or 3 weeks when everyone starts coming back.
That's great.
Elementary, you want to join in? Kim, do you know how many you have?
Yes, I just finalized mine just a few minutes before we got on the board meeting. I have 45 students who are virtual at this time, 6 in kindergarten, 5 in first grade, 5 in second, 9 in third, 9 in fourth, and 9 in fifth grade for Calhoun.
Thank you. Carrie, John, y'all know your numbers?
We have at Sacramento, we have 23 right now. But I'm like Kelly, I'm fully expecting some of those to come back. Hopefully, most all of them will come back once, quote, school gets started for real and we're going 5 days a week. I'm hoping some of them will come back next week when all the kids come.
Kate, you have your numbers?
Yeah, the highest we got was about a third of the building. I know Ashley had told us it was around 78 that were virtual. I know that we have had several come back and more that are calling and asking what the procedure is to come back. So I know they will be returning. I think that we will probably be down to around 30 by the time we're done.
Good.
Thank you. With next week, we're going to add all elementary, all middle, and 11th and 12th grade. The May 8th week, we'll plan on having all grades back at school in person who choose to, 4 days a week. I initially said I'm going to watch March 22nd. March 22nd will be our 5 day a week target. But I'm going to watch March 8th. If everything is going smooth and I can get into schools and I don't see any issues, might change it to March 15th if everything is smooth. What's one more day? So, so I may move it up a week, but I want to wait to get the kids in all 4 days, all grades 4 days, to see how that week goes. Then I'm midweek, and if I see it going good, I may make an announcement. We will be 5 days on the March 15th week. But for sure, March 22nd is it. I may go March 15th if it does look good, March 8th, with 4 days a week with all the kids. So I just wanted to throw that out there for everybody, for the principals to plan. It just, if it goes good, why not? With one more day, let's get the kids back in front of a teacher. So, with that, I'll be watching the rates in the county and the schools, everything like that. But right now, everything's looking good to go. I'm just going to say, I talked to Miss Lindsay a little bit ago. We have, I can only place a principal as an interim principal for 1 year, and we're going to go ahead with this process of hiring principals at 3 schools, Sacramento, Marigatton, middle school and high school. We're going to start that process to get it earlier stage, and that way people know who the principal is and has time to work and move on into the next school year and work for the summer, see what's going on in their schools. Everybody that's placed has done a wonderful job this year. I appreciate their hard work. I have had no issues whatsoever, and I want to thank you for coming and doing this for us this year. And some of you may be back. Some of you are probably going to retire again, John, right?
Yes, sir. I'll sub. I'll be available to sub, but I'm ready to have some duck time.
Oh, there you go. There you go. But I appreciate all the hard work these interims have done. What a time to be an interim principal. Taking on this COVID-19 has not been easy for any of them. Y'all did a wonderful job, and I thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And I think all the board could probably say, thanking all of these that came in to fill in on it. And wasn't an easy job, I know. Well, thank them all. How much we appreciate them. All right. Well, I guess the next item would be approval of consent agenda. I think these are one we went over Tuesday. I don't know if there's anything anyone like to pull out, or if
Do
not.
we need to go over construction items, or are we done with that?
We were done with that. We did that.
Okay.
We approved the resolutions on the board.
Okay. Yeah, that just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything else. Okay.
The minutes of the Finance Corporation you should have those there too, because we approved them on Tuesday.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So with if there's any of those that any of you feel like you need to pull, we can. If you feel comfortable with it, like to have a motion.
I'll recommend we approve the consent.
Recommend. Okay, I figured you probably would. Okay, if no addition, do I have someone want to make a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Ms. Bumpus, thank you. Have a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Howard, thank you. Well, no other discussion. All signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All righty, it'd be a 4-0. Thank you. Said there went 10 real quick. Next one would be, I think, Mr. Stokes, consider approval of bills. And we have already, looked at most of them. We haven't seen the add-ons, did we?
I did. I've already looked at them.
Did you? Okay.
There is about a page and a quarter of a page of add-on bills, Mr.
All
Miller.
righty.
There was something. Hold on. What was it like that? What is the migrant van?
It's our van we keep here at the central office, the white one that stays here all the time. We
Okay.
use for trips or it's just our extra vehicle. We've been using it a lot more for our basketball because if we have a kid that gets sick, we use that to transport. That way they're not on the bus where the kid's coming back home. We've been
Okay.
using it in different ways. And a migrant takes food to people in that part. That's what that is.
Okay, I just was like, what is the migrant van? I don't, okay, thank you. That's the only question I had.
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good.
All righty. Someone wish to make a motion?
I recommend we pay the bills.
All right, Mr. Burrow, thank you. Motion, do I have a motion?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Howard, thank you. A second?
Second.
All right, Ms. McMahon, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All righty. Next item is consider approval of 3 business community leaders representatives for the local planning committee. And I think Mr. Troutman gave us that information the other day. If you need some more information about it, well, I'm sure he's probably here. But if not, well, Mr. Burrow, hopefully he'll approve this one too.
I recommend we approve the 3 community members that Mr. Troutman named at the board luncheon.
All righty.
I make a motion to do that, and I think they were great selections.
Yep, sure are. All righty. Ms. Bumpus, thank you for the motion. Now, second.
Second.
All right, Mr. Howard, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right. Opposed? All right, be 4-0 on that one. Thank you. And let's see. Now, the treasurer's report. It is Mr. Stokes, definitely now.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Mr. Superintendent, members of the board. In the month of January, we had revenues in the amount of $1,466,160.08. Our expenditures totaled $1,915,369.26, which left us with a closing cash balance of $6,149,464.94. And now I'll go through and separate those by fund. The general fund and payroll checking totals $5,384,133.97. Our special revenue fund has a balance of $6,886.02. Our district activity funds have a balance of $38,109.83. Capital outlay has a balance of $338,372.76. Our FSPK, that's our nickel tax, that fund is showing a negative $408,023.08. And that is because we use this fund to make our bond payments, and our bond payments fall throughout the year. However, our funding comes from KDE, and we receive half of it in July and then Then they wait 11 months and give us the other half in June. And so July is the first month of our year and June is the last month of our year. So we will receive, I actually have budgeted to spend about 50,000 more out of that. And then by the end of the year, we receive the revenues that get it back to zero. So while that's a large negative number, it is completely part of the plan and not alarming. So I just wanted to make sure to mention that right after I read it. You've heard me say our construction fund's showing negative because we're going to sell bonds on March 23rd. Once we sell bonds, then we're going to have an influx of 1.3 million come into that. So right now it is showing a negative $57,121.99. Our food service program has a cash balance of $66,511.05. And our after school program has a balance of $10,298.56. Community Ed's balance is $884.60. And our trust and agency funds total $769,413.22. And just as a reminder on that fund, about $740,000 of that is held in a trust and is money that we cannot spend. We just can spend the interest on it for scholarships. So the money's in our account and it looks like it's a large amount, but we really have about $29,000 that could be spent for scholarships at this point. So all of those amounts again total $6,149,464.94. Does anyone have any questions on the FSPK since it's a large number? I'm not explaining that well.
Mr. Stokes, the trusting agency, about how much interest does that draw in a year?
Well, since interest has dropped to not much, it fluctuates every year. I think if I were guessing, it probably draws somewhere around 25 to 30,000 in a good year. This year, it's probably going to be closer to 10 to 12.
Ooh, okay. Yep.
And there's only one scholarship that we write out of that's basically where the interest is the scholarship check. So the others are from contributions. So with that fund, only one of the scholarships in that fund relies on interest. It just so happens to be the biggest one that we have. So
right. Okay. Thank
okay.
you.
So and I always give you 4 sheets. I give you the cash reconciliation, then I give you a Fund 1 report, and I usually go over the Fund 1 report with you, and then the next 2 pages are the same 2 sheets for the prior year. I just want to remind everyone that this December we were giving $320,000 to offset general fund costs, and we had to put that money into Fund 2. So we are looking like we are cash heavy compared to last year, but that's because we've coded over $300,000 worth of Fund 1 expense to Fund 2 to adhere to KDE's the Corona relief funds of $320,000. So if you're looking at page 1 and it shows that we're well ahead in cash versus the page 3 of this report, I just want to remind everyone that's because of the recoding, and so that we're actually not going to be having good year-to-year comparisons for the next, well, honestly, for about 12 months. So I'll probably bring that up again, not every month, but some months, that these comparison pages that I'm giving you, I'm still going to give them to you because actually the past 2 pages, or the back 2 pages, are probably more relevant information at this point, just because they're more consistent with normal funding sources. One other note I have on the $408,000 that we're showing deficit in the FSPK fund, $130,000 came in on property taxes that will go into that fund in February. So that will actually, it will lower the deficit by $130,000 for next month's meeting.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the SEEK numbers aren't really, they're cutting $320,000 out of our SEEK every month until June 30th. So
we're not being able to see that.
Christy, do you mind to scroll down one page for me, please? Thank you. Basically, what I'm saying is this page is not a great. It's not going to follow the budget that the board passed in September. But for the month, and we did. If Ms. Case, if you'll go down to the bottom, please. We did have right there. Thank you. On the bottom left hand, we had 782,000 in revenue, almost 783. We spent 771, so we did almost have a $12,000 increase in general fund for the month. Of course, last year we had a $45,000 increase for the same month, so it's still positive, and that's always good when our general fund goes up a little bit. It's more money we have for our students.
Right.
So I'll be happy to answer any questions dealing with any of these pages or anything else. If any board member or superintendent, Mr. Superintendent, if you have any.
I'm good.
Aren't we usually above on the local resources? Aren't the percentage of our budget? Don't we usually have more than that in by now?
Well, if you look at last year's, actually we were at the local source was at 76%, and we're actually at 77.6 this year. So we're actually ahead, which is really positive considering the fact that the property tax actually started a month late this year. So actually we look pretty good there.
Okay.
Is that what you're asking me? Like our local property taxes?
Yeah, the general real estate property tax and some of those. Sometimes we're over 100%.
Yes. We still have a few more months where we'll receive some property tax in. So I hope that we do make 100% of our budget by the end of the year.
Maybe I'm just anxious for this extra money coming in.
No problems with that. Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right. Everyone seemed to be fine with this? All right. Mr. Burrow?
I recommend you approve the treasury report as Mr. Stokes presented.
All right. Heard the recommendation. Someone make a motion, please.
Motion.
All right, Mr. Howard, thank you. Second?
I'll second.
All right, Mr. McMahon, thank you. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Noes? So it'll be 4-0. Thank you. And let's see. I think that's other than just information items, or unless one of the board members or some of you have information that you want to talk to us about or anything else. Ms. Bumpus, are you good?
I'm good.
All right. Ms. McMahon, are you
I'm
good?
Mhm.
All righty. Mr. Howard.
Yes, I'm okay.
All righty. Just want to make sure on it today. Well, if nothing else, someone want to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All right, Ms. Bumpus, thank you. A second?
Second.
Second? All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.